And for the final time this week, welcome into the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. This is your love music, love life, love sports station as well. It is 16 minutes past 8 a.m. It is surprisingly a rainy Friday morning. I wasn't expecting rain. Rain was not on my bingo card at all, but it's been raining at different times during the week. So we're still wondering what exactly is going on with the weather. Anyways, we are here to lift your spirits, to add some sunshine to your morning with sporting action. My name is Ayokunmi. Great to have you join us this morning. And you know that in the locker room, it is always an amazing time. Not because I'm the only one here. Definitely not. The one and only sports giant herself, Tega Supreme, is with me. Tega, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank God it's Friday.
Yes,
I'm
so
getting better at this thing. Oh well. So good news. First of all, it's Friday. League football action continues over the weekend. We'll be talking about that. A few big matches, one in Italy. I think Roma, Juventus. So we'll touch on that a little bit. In the Premier League, Liverpool take on Tottenham. We'll talk about that. And Chelsea take on Newcastle. Kind of big in its own way. We'll
yeah.
see if we have time to touch on that. Okay, all right. And in Spain, interesting fixtures. Barcelona will take on Villarreal. All of that and more coming up inside the locker room. But before we do any talking, we must remember this weekend is when the biggest football fiesta on the African continent
Mm,
begins. On
mm, mm.
Sunday, Afcon starts, all right, in Morocco. Let me just even shock you how Morocco is trying to intimidate all of us. Do you know that Morocco won the Arab Cup?
Flexing their
They
muscle.
beat they beat Jordan in the final in Qatar. It's just like they say we are going to do clean sweep. So the rest of Africa, they've thrown down the gauntlet. If you know what is good for you, pick it up and say, this cup is not staying here. That's what the rest of Africa needs to do because Morocco is not playing. Also some updates from the Super Eagles camp. Victor Osimhen is back. He's in camp. We don't know if he's starting. We don't know what state he is in, but he's in camp. And yes, updates. You remember when I was saying about the fairs, the weather in Morocco,
Yeah.
in the fairs city where Nigeria will be,
Mm.
and they were saying it's cool and all of that. Well, the Nigerians went there. They said it's not. Maybe cool is English word because it is cold. Said come with your sweater and your head warmer. That's
Winter
all
is
you
here.
need to know. Winter is here. It's not even coming. They said, come with your sweater and your head warmer. It is cold. All right. So, that's the updates I'm going to give. But we'll be talking more about the AFCON in our AFCON preview right after Ayokunmi tells you how to be a part of the locker room this morning.
Yes, indeed. Lagos, Nigeria, wherever it is you are, join us in the locker room. Share your thoughts with us. We love to hear your analysis as well. The WhatsApp number is 0911 0911 Also join the live stream on YouTube where we get to have a lot of fun behind the scenes. The Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways you can be part of the locker room this morning. So, as Tega mentioned, we'll be talking about the AFCON, looking forward to kickoff on Sunday. And today we'll be focusing on players to watch and what to expect in Morocco. Tega, do you want to take it from here?
Yes, okay. So talking about the AFCON preview, we're looking at players to watch. All right. And this is we're looking at players to watch, number one, at the Africa Cup of Nations. And these are the players that will stand out for their team. We're not saying they will necessarily win the World Cup, sorry, the African Cup of Nations. What we are
Right.
saying is that they will shine at these tournaments. Okay. So we're talking about that, players to watch, but we're also doing a final preview. And that's because the first match is coming up on Sunday and it is Morocco taking on Comoros. Now, the biggest news out of that is that, again, like I said, Morocco is threatening the rest of Africa because up on social media, Ashraf Hakimi posted a picture of him, fully dressed without his leg surgery brace. Almost to say, I'm ready for this. Exactly. Because remember, even at the African Cup of Nations, he was still wearing the brace.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
He was still wearing it, and then he was doing that limping thing, you know. But he now posts a picture. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Anyways, and he doesn't have the brace anymore. In fact, there are rumors that he's going to start training. So they reported that he came into Morocco with his own doctor and his own physiotherapist. That's how serious he is about this getting ready for Africa. Um, but they're saying that he's going to start training soon, that it was just an ankle sprain, a bad ankle sprain, but an ankle sprain nonetheless. So he's preparing for Afcon, and that's the biggest news out of that update. That even if he's not ready for Comoros, he could be ready for some other matches in the group stage or maybe just after the group stage. All right, that's
Right.
the biggest note they have. But Comoros has had what a two good big matches, few good matches. The most recent one is the scalp of Ghana that they took, if we can call Ghana a big team because they are not even at this tournament.
Hmm. Don't open
Let me
that
laugh
door,
at them
Tega.
now.
Don't open
Let
that
me laugh
door.
at them now before they laugh at us at World Cup. This is turn by turn. Let everybody collect. All right. So the biggest scalp will be when they took the scalp against Ghana. Also, the fact that this is the first match of the tournament, teams are really just getting to feel themselves. It gives Comoros an advantage to have a good match against the Moroccans. So they've not yet gotten into stride. The first match, as much as a lot of teams already know their starting 11, because it's the first match, it's not like they're starting hesitantly, but is that they're still feeling their way into the tournament. So that kind of gives
Comoros.
Comoros an elevation, a slight elevation. But given the results of Morocco in the past, in the build up to this tournament and in their recent form in 2025, it may not take much because they've kind of gone unbeaten. They have been beating every team inside. So it's going to make it a little tough for Morocco to settle for Comoros to settle down,
Comoros.
number one. Number two, um, Comoros is also playing Morocco at home. And that is the first match of the tournament. I can guarantee you, even the sky will be wearing red and green on the day. Even the sky. So it will be tough for Comoros to say, oh, we'll have a moment to feel a little comfortable. From the minute they come out of their locker room, everything will remind them that they're playing against the host. And that's such a daunting task for a small country like Comoros, who's just trying to make their way into the footballing world to take on. So it looks like a heavy one for Comoros. But like I said, because it's the first match and countries are still feeling their way into the tournament, they may just have a slight elevation to at least perform and not be completely beaten down by Morocco. But yeah, Morocco is one of my tournament favorites. Morocco is one of the tournament favorites. And all these are based on many reasons. Their form in the build up to AFCON, their form all the way from Qatar World Cup. In fact, they were stunned at the last AFCON, if we are being honest. And the fact that in almost every tournament or competition they've gone in, their footballing teams, their national footballing teams have gone really far and made a mark, including winning the recent Arab Cup that just ended yesterday. So
Right.
this is a huge deal for Morocco. I think they are the team that everybody should be out to beat. All right, that's that for the first preview. But now let's look at players to watch. My first player will be Victor Osimhen for obvious reasons. Star boy for club and country. All right.
Mm. Yes,
Um,
indeed.
Powerful. He has great presence on the pitch. He has quickness. He can score headers. He can chase down defenders. He is one of my players to watch. I think he will shine. Um, Ashraf Hakimi, of course, if he does get to play, I think he's also a great leader. Even if he's one of the few star boys playing from defense, he's a great leader and he can push Morocco to go far. Also, who else do I have on my list? I want to say So Sadio Mane for me may come into play. I haven't seen
So
him play.
he was on my mind as well.
Yeah, Sadio Mane may come into play for me. I haven't seen him play in a while, but I think that on the African continent, regardless of where he's playing his football club, he's one of the leaders on the team and he'll be able to push. Mohamed Salah is the one that I put on this list. The only reason he's on this list is because he's a pharaoh. Because based on current form, when you remember some of the chances he missed in their last match, even if he did finally give the assist for the second goal, when you think of a few of the chances that he missed in that, especially in the second half, you're like, is he in great form? Can he shine at this tournament? So the only reason he's on this list, number one, he's a pharaoh. Number two, is because of his previous history as a goal scorer. Those are my players to look out for. Who are your players to look out for?
Talking about players to look out for, I mean, you can't overlook a certain Victor Osimhen. I mean, he's Nigeria's talisman. We all know what he brings to the team. We've all seen how Nigeria and Super Eagles suffer when Osimhen isn't playing. So he puts everything on the line and on the pitch for the Eagles. So he's definitely that player that I'm looking forward to seeing. He has only one Afcon goal, if I'm correct, and that's not good enough for a player of his standing. So he needs to up those numbers. Brahim Diaz of Morocco also comes to mind, adding to the
Ah,
star
that's good.
power,
That's good. I don't know
you
why
know,
I omitted him. Yeah,
adding
that's good.
to Morocco's star power as well. So he's one of those players who play in Europe who bring that certain flair, and he will be very, very key for the Moroccans. And there's an outsider for me in all this one. He has been in great form this season, but I will mention his name anyway. Carlos Baleba of Cameroon. I mean, he's
True.
he's he's been off form for Brighton this season, but his quality is undeniable. And this AFCON could just be that spark that he needs to get back to
If he's
the
on the
heights that
right
he
team
hit.
list, if he's on the you know that they have two team lists. If he's on the right team list, we will see him. If he's not on the right team list, I don't know. All right, so let's quickly jump into tennis before we round up.
Yes, let's jump into the world of tennis and talk about a certain Carlos Alcaraz. That's the men's tennis's world number one. He announced on Wednesday that he's splitting from his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, after 7 hugely successful years together. What's going on?
Okay, so let me tell you the truth. Remember I've been saying that Juan Carlos Ferrero now thinks he's Carlos Alcaraz's father, and maybe he hasn't pushed him to his competitive best. Because I mean, Carlos Alcaraz can beat everyone on tour and can literally lose to anyone on tour. How can you be
Mm.
so good and so bad at the same time? Are you Coily Sue? So at some point, I was like, there's something that is missing. But details emerging from camp is also we have to also have to look at the Carlos Alcaraz situation, because when you are coaching a lot of these players, their family members are heavily involved, and that can
Right,
affect outcome. And Carlos Alcaraz is a very family heavy dependent person. What makes his family very important about this is that his father and Juan Carlos Ferrero have always been at loggerheads about how his career should go. Then Carlos Alcaraz comes from a family that has some flamboyant tendencies. His brother knows a lot of celebrities. The young man too, his older brother knows a lot of celebrities, likes to party, one or two parties, you understand? Not
mm,
extreme, but he's there. Carlos also has been known to enjoy himself. Um, and so all those things, especially when you're a young player trying to build up your career, those are not the things you see coming up from players that have really made a mark long
right.
term. Even Lewis Hamilton, that parties, he started partying when he was at least in his, he was dating a singer, but even that singer, you didn't really see his party pictures until when he had gotten two titles. Do you understand? It is
Yeah,
two world titles. It's the kind of thing that they don't show this early, but Carlos has been allowed to enjoy, and so he likes to dabble a little. Even when he plays on court, sometimes, we hear that Juan Carlos Ferrero has been saying, you have to be more functional, but more practical. Sometimes he just really wants to have fun and entertain. And so there was always that question of how well he's going to play. And so
yeah,
all of that, Carlos himself didn't want Ferrero to leave. Ferrero didn't want to leave Carlos, but Carlos's father um was at loggerheads with JCF from the start. And so when they gave him a new contract, they reduced his salary to try and chase him away. That one didn't chase Carlos. It was just that one didn't chase Juan, sorry. It was just that there were some other things they wanted Carlos to not be doing, some
Okay.
training times and training methods. And JCF was like, on those ones, I cannot budge. And so he did not sign the contract. And he was even given only 48 hours to take it or leave it. That was very disrespectful.
Hmm.
So even if I was one of those that thought Carlos Alcaraz needed a new coach, the backstory and the manner in which JCF has left this role makes me question how long his career would be. Because again, unlike remember when Rafa Nadal cut off from his uncle Tony?
Yeah.
He has the personality to cut off. When Djokovic started telling his father, okay, you need to start taking a back seat, he also had that personality. But
Well,
Carlos Alcaraz
Carlos
looks like
though. Hmm.
no, he doesn't. He looks like he's heavily dependent on his family being around. Heavily dependent. And so I don't think he can make that call and say, oh, yeah, daddy, take the back seat. So I don't know how his career is going to turn out, but 2026 results will tell us the truth.
Most definitely. All right, let's take a breather this morning. When we come back in, we'll be talking about Villarreal, who are beginning to dream of a title pursuit ahead of Barcelona's visit. That and so much more on the other side of the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. Ah, they should not rush Hakimi.
Hakimi wants to be rushed. Do you know if he's sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber like
At least
Michael
Comoros,
Jackson?
at least Comoros, they beat them in Arab Cup.
Who?
Morocco, they beat them in the Arab Cup. They beat
No, no,
Comoros
no.
in
I'm
Arab.
saying. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm saying that he's not going to play against Comoros.
No, no, I'm speaking generally about the fact
Okay,
they're
okay,
playing
okay, okay,
Comoros again in the Afcon
okay,
after
okay,
they
okay.
beat them
Yeah,
some days ago.
he's not going to feature, but they will rush him, and he wants to be rushed. He wants to. I think in Morocco they have a feeling that this is their year, and
Mm,
so as
I don't blame them.
many exactly they have a feeling that this is their year, and so he wants to be a part of that. He wants to be able to lead because he succeeded with PSG. You also now want to succeed with
The national team.
national team. Yeah.
Mm.
So that I think that he's also rushing himself. I mean, when he came with his own physio, Oga was ready, I beg.
Men business, so that
It means business. So
I have to I have to play this ball, oh.
I think he'll also be rushing his I can almost guarantee that there's an there's an elevated uh treatment level going on. Of course they'll manage his minutes. Maybe he will be jumping to avoid tackles, but he wants to play in the match. And if he's going to start training this week, I don't think he can play in the group stage safe.
They might even be cooking him for the latter stages of the tournament. Okay,
Yeah,
don't
it
worry.
has to be the latter stages of the
First
tournament. He can't play in the
first
group stage.
first three games, don't worry. We'll do the job and qualify. You can now play your part, that kind of thing.
So let's see how they do. I mean, that Arab Cup was a good competition. The quality of football was good, and they
Perfect
won
World
that.
Cup.
I mean, it's not Afcon standard. I mean, I don't think that Jordan can beat many African countries.
Can it be Super Eagles?
Even Super Eagles are not that bad. Is my point.
Oh my goodness. We don't know which team will turn up on their day. Proper Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah, I'm just all this one. Super Eagles are saying we'll do this to compensate Nigerians. I don't want to burst their bubble. I wanted to be the first to say you can't compensate us. We don't do either or in Nigeria. We take both. Are we back?
Yes, we are. Alrighty, welcome back into the locker room on a Friday morning, a rainy but feel-good Friday morning that is here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life, love sports as well. Ayokunmi here. Tega Supreme also with me, having a great morning, great time talking sports. We always do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15 here on Smooth 98.1. And you can join us on the conversations. Let us know your thoughts. Give us your analysis, your perspectives, and so on and so forth. WhatsApp number is 0911 999 0981 0911 999 YouTube, you can get your front row seats at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, let's get back into club football, and we're heading to La Liga, where Villarreal will host Barcelona on Sunday, with their dreams of a first ever Spanish top flight title looking increasingly plausible as the Valencian side look to add spice to an unpredictable La Liga title race. Check out Villarreal, La Liga title.
Yeah. So they are in a good spot at the top of the table. They are in third, but that's not. It's not no need to be dramatic. It's early days in the season, so they are behind. I think they're behind Real Madrid. Are they behind Atletico? I know they are in top four. And so it's a good position to be. But remember, Real Madrid is already 4 points behind Barcelona, and it's early days.
They're third.
So
They're four
they're
points
third.
behind Real Madrid.
Yes, they're third. So I know they're third on the table. All right.
But
So
they have 2 games in hand though.
all that drama is early days in the season. You can talk anyhow about it. Early days in the season, but it's a great one because nobody even expected them to be here yet. Everybody was expecting the big three to be at the top of the table, but they didn't know which order the big three was going to be at the top of the table.
Mm,
Um, so at this point in time, Villarreal is in a good spot. They're in good form. They're getting the results, and so they believe we are taking on a Barcelona that is also questionable. Everybody thinks they have the formula because of Barcelona's high line. Their own is would score goals and then we'll make it hard for them to score against us. And it's a good strategy because Barcelona have been known on some days to struggle. So, like, if you think about how they lost 3-0 to PSG, how they struggled they had some draws in the league. So, I mean, teams are beginning to think that we can get something over Barcelona. And Villarreal
yeah.
is like, with the form that we are in and the way we play, this should be our year to get Barcelona's cup. The thing about Hansi Flick is also that he's worried because I don't think he thinks he can beat Real Madrid, Clasico this season. Not with the high line and not with the form of Mbappe. So he will get the points he needs from everybody else around.
And that's
And
important.
then and can afford to now lose to Real Madrid. So that when Real Madrid drop points to anybody around, they'll be able to benefit. It's a tricky one. It's reminding me of Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz will beat Yannick Sinner, but he will lose to anybody. Yannick Sinner is like, nobody can beat me but Carlos Alcaraz. So I'll just wait for Carlos to lose to some random and then win the title. It's an interesting one for Barcelona and Real Madrid this time. So it sets up for a very interesting game. I don't see Barcelona brushing Villarreal aside. In fact, I think this is going to be one of the tough matches for Barcelona. And what makes this weekend even different? Previous weekends, Barcelona played first, and then Real Madrid play the next day. This weekend, both Atletico and Real Madrid are playing before Barcelona.
Aha. So
they already have scoreboard pressure.
exactly. Let's see if they can succumb to said pressure. All right, let's leave La Liga and head over to, for now, let's head over to England and talk about this certain Enzo Maresca, who said he appreciated the backing of Chelsea's fans after they sung his name during Tuesday's 3-1 win at Cardiff in the League Cup quarter-final.
Remember, first of all, let's talk about that Cardiff match. It was interesting when he changed the team. Remember what I talked about it? Spoke about it. I said, I'll start my big name players first and then rest later. But
Yeah.
he eventually won that match. And now in the draws, he faces the winner of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
Mm.
So that already puts them on an advantage because Arsenal Crystal Palace was postponed due to Crystal Palace playing in the Europa last night, a match which they drew to all. So it gives them the heads up because they have played their match and they're resting when Arsenal and Crystal Palace will be slugging it out and they play that winner. But remember during that match, I was talking about that the fact that the club wasn't backing him.
Yeah.
And so there were indications that there were some people on the board that were not really supporting Maresca. And so the fans were like, we like Maresca, we want him here, and they sung his name through. Hopefully they'll be there at St. James's Park to sing his name through because first match Saturday morning.
Early kickoff.
It is a daunting task of facing Newcastle at St. James's Park. Now, the thing is, Newcastle have also struggled. Um, it took them a last minute goal to beat Fulham in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And they face Manchester City next. It took them a last minute goal. But they're a team that are capable of good results and good performances. They're a team that are capable of matching the top teams in England toe to toe. And so that makes this hard for Chelsea. And the fact that they're also playing at home. So it's going to be a tough fixture. I'm not saying that Chelsea can't win this. And remember, Newcastle have also been one of those teams that from generation to generation, they find a way of making life hard for Chelsea.
Mm.
So it's going to be a tough fixture for Maresca. So hopefully the fans will also be singing his name after that match.
I remember the days of Dembaba and Papi Cisse against Chelsea.
Exactly.
Those were interesting times. All right, still staying in England. Let's talk about Manchester City, who have the chance to climb above Arsenal and seize the Premier League lead this Saturday with a home clash against struggling West Ham United before Mikel Arteta's injury hit side head to Everton later on in the day.
Yeah, so Man City playing first to put scoreboard pressure on Arsenal like last weekend. Um, and they're playing against a West Ham side that have struggled. Now, Nuno Espirito Santos did a good number on Manchester City last season, but he was in a different club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Nottingham Forest where they had extra men in their locker room. This is a West Ham side that is barely struggling to survive. Yes, they've come into good form under Nuno, getting a few important results here and there. But ultimately, they're still in dire straits. So it is one of those teams you expect Manchester City to get the results against because for there's some teams that even if they can match Manchester City toe to toe, defensively they are solid enough to stop Manchester City from scoring. West Ham is not their team. One of their biggest problems is that they drink in goals. And when you think of Manchester City coming to play against them with a certain Erling Haaland who has had a good rest. A Phil Foden who is coming back into form. A Cherky who is threading needles from different areas on the pitch. It's hard to see West Ham stopping Manchester City from temporarily going top on the Premier League. But this is football. And anything can literally happen. So let's give West Ham a chance.
Yes, indeed. Anything can potentially happen.
They
Tega, if you
have
were
the chance of a candle in the window.
Tega, just very quickly talk about Barcelona. Barcelona's chances of having an El Clasico clash in the Champions League quarterfinal, the Women's Champions League quarterfinal, that is.
Yes, the Women's Champions League quarterfinal is looking to set up interesting quarterfinals. Chelsea may also face Arsenal in the quarterfinals if Arsenal beats Lovren in their playoff spot. And if Real Madrid win their playoff match, then they could face Barcelona in the quarterfinals. So El Clasico one side, London Derby another side. The thing is, Barcelona and Chelsea have already qualified directly. They're using the same league table
Yeah.
that the men's side are using. So yeah, that's what makes this interesting. So if things go as predictors plan, including myself, we may be getting an El Clasico final in the Champions League quarterfinals for women and the London Derby in the Champions League quarterfinals. So let's wait to see how that pans out.
Interesting fixtures on the horizon there. All right, let's take a look at your messages as we wrap up this morning. Felix in Mende, Maryland. Good morning to you, Felix. And he says, happy weekend, and he's enjoying the program as always. Felix, thank you so much every single time. He says, I'm looking forward to the weekend's crunch matches. I hope my Real Madrid can prevail over Sevilla on Saturday. Well, I'm praying for you as
If you
well.
can't beat Sevilla, you might as well just pack it in and call it a day.
Call it a season. Stan says, good morning, AY and Tega. I'm surprised no one is talking about PSG's victory, winning the Intercontinental Cup. The Russian apprentice keeper surprisingly saved 4 penalties. So amazing. The only keeper in big tournament history to have ever saved 4 penalties in a row. Very ridiculous penalty shootouts between PSG and Flamengo. Very, very ridiculous one.
I don't even know if that I don't even know if it was goalkeeper. Anyway, Tega, leave it. Because it just seems like players can't take penalty kicks again these days. I don't understand what's going on.
You just you just wonder. Biggie in K2 says, Tega, you finally been exposed. We don't catch them live on the locker room. So Morocco is your favorite. What happened to our team, the Super Eagles? Anyways, congrats to Morocco on winning the Afcon. They haven't even kicked off yet. Calm down now. They're the only informed team on top that is poised to win it. That's not true. Ivory Coast Surf are not taking any prisoners. He says, if the Super Eagles make it to the semis, then don't try. Let them warm good ebb and relax ahead of other tournaments. Okay. Tayo, good morning to you. Tayo says, Hakimi at Afcon. Hey, Google, be careful. Now, Express, you they go. If you like, rush into the game. You will rush out to the warm embrace of PSG. Salah has one last opportunity to win it. So, sorry. Salah has one last chance to win it so that Carragher can find something else to say. And happy retirement to Ahmed Musa. I wonder if Iwobi will take the armband and Nwabali as deputy. It's all about chaos football. Did I just hear moi in one of your adverts? Well, I don't know about that, Tayo. I don't know what you're listening to. Let me go to YouTube very quickly. Okay, Padre Payo says, interesting how the Eagles turned up. Very colorful. They represented the green and white very well. I loved it. It doesn't mean they aren't coming back after their 3 games, sharp. Thank God for the EPL. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, thank you all for the messages, Tega. Let's wrap it up.
All right. On that note, want to thank you for sending in your messages via WhatsApp and streaming on YouTube. We also want to thank you for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Now, remember, once again, it's weekend. So pray that your team is not fodder for banter. On that note, go out there, watch the Afcon, watch your teams play in their different leagues, and let's come back on Monday after a fantastic weekend. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Tega. Enjoy your weekend. Looking forward to the show on Monday. And thank you all for keeping it locked and keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1 and The Locker Room, which will make a return on Monday at 8:15 on The Smooth Breakfast. My name is Ayokunmi. Stay with us.